Before I tell you about episodes, I'm going to show you the two main characters. This is me, Judy Jackson, and this is Monika Sears, with whom I wrote the book. This is me when I was about 3, and then Monika at the same age. We were living in different countries. Here's Monika in 1950, the year we first met, and me with my brother when I was 17, when she first told me her story. This is the book we wrote together, an account of our early life in two completely different places. My hometown, London, was subjected to bombing and food rationing. In Poland, Monika was trying to escape the Warsaw Ghetto and the Nazi persecution. Episodes interweaves their stories, but I'm going to let you hear it from their own words.
It's the story of two little girls, you and me.
Of the many shocking incidents, and there are some, the ones you describe, what stands out for you in particular?
For me, I think the fact that fear was my normality. And that I didn't realise till it stopped being my normality. And being shuttled between two women, both of whom were called Auntie. I didn't know what a mother was. I didn't even know that one of them was my mother. Yes, spending whole days, sometimes months, under a table, and having been told that it would not a good idea to let the landlady of where we were staying know that there was a little girl there, didn't help.
So our stories are so different. Even during the bombing and the Blitz, I was never afraid for my life. But you're right, we were too young to understand what was going on around us.
Yeah.
And I had a brother, David, who was 2 years older, and so he had more understanding of what was happening. For example, he knew that my father was going out every night after a bombing raid, and he was on fire watch, and he had to go and find out which buildings were burning and communicate the information to the warden, the fire warden. But to be honest, for me and David, running in and out of the air raid shelter, it was, and this is shocking to say, it was an excitement. During the war, things happened which they bear no relation to the kind of thing that you were going through, but the one I remember most vividly is how my brother and his friend one day grabbed my favourite cuddly toy, this wonderful little rag doll with beautiful clothes, and I just adored him. And they, between them, they pulled him and ripped him up the middle. Now, I can only just describe, I was so miserable. I just felt desperate when that happened. Going back to your feelings of fear, yours were on a different level, because the worst for you must have been when you finally came to understand that the bodies on the ground in Warsaw were in some ways connected to real people.
Well, it was the penny dropped that they weren't getting up again. I had a little friend called Bolek, and we were walking, because we'd been forced out of the buildings, we were walking along the street and he was next to me. The Germans were taking pot shots and he got one of the pot shots. And he was lying down and his guts were falling out. And my mother took me away and wouldn't let me put the guts in together again. And the penny dropped that he wasn't going to stand up and take my hand, and we weren't going to go on. And the bodies that I was stepping over were not really people anymore. They were sort of bundles of clothes.
But you described, we talked a lot about this, I remember, this particular incident. And I found it really hard to imagine what you must have thought about it. And you amazed me by saying that the first feeling you had after Bolek was shot was one of anger.
At my mother.
Yeah.
Because his guts were on the floor, on the ground, and I wanted to pick them up and put them back inside and say, come along, we're going to walk on. She wouldn't let me. She picked me up and carried me away.
If this makes you think you'd like to read our book, you can get it on Amazon. It's really not expensive, so do give it a go.